Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. So now that we have lit this guy's candlestick, as you can see, he is now going completely berserk and he's freaking out because he does not want to die via flame, I guess, spilling out of his candle. So we're gonna go ahead and follow him and see where he goes. It's very important you do follow him. If you do lose him in the mansion, it's kind of hard to do that. You will have to essentially just restart it by just relighting his candlestick and then of course following him another time. So, and he'll just kind of reset and go back to where he was if you do fail to come in here. So once you have followed the guy into this room here, this is where he is going to stop. And as you can see, his heart is exposed. So the burning flames of unbridled passion, or wait, how about the passionate flames of unbridled burning? Very clever man. But once he does that little dance as he's sitting down, he will then be exposed enough for you to go ahead and capture him. That essentially is his weak point. This guy is pretty simple out of most of the portrait ghosts. He's not going to put up too much of a fight. Again, as long as you kind of get into a corner there and find a little sweet spot, you will shouldn't have too many issues getting him captured into the Poltergust 3000. And now we have another chest and of course another boo since we have lit up the butler's room. So this guy officially was the butler. And this is going to now open up another door. And as you can see, we have to go in the opposite direction of where we are now. So one thing I actually want to point out that I was incorrect last time as I looked for this boo in this room. So I was kind of talking about the portrait ghosts, and this is Peekaboo. I guess that one's kind of clever. It looks like we got him. Very nice. But like I was saying, I was kind of talking about the portrait ghosts and how they essentially used to, I guess, live in this mansion when they were in human form. That is actually completely false. I don't know what, I think the having like the little pictures and portraits of some of these portrait ghosts in human form kind of, for some reason, made me think that. And I think that's what I thought when I was younger, when I played this game as a kid, is I thought these ghosts were actually residents of this mansion long ago when they were alive, but that's not the case because this mansion was just created by the boos. So it's actually not really technically a real mansion. It was just kind of a creation from the boos. So these ghosts would have never lived here. They were the ghosts that were essentially part of portraits that EGAD owned, and that was actually revealed in the very first episode. I don't know how my brain didn't really remember that, but for some reason I thought they were, you know, people that lived here. This mansion doesn't really exist. It's just a creation of the boos, so that's not true. So just wanted to kind of clear the air there and just I like to kind of clear things up if I'm not correct on certain things that I say, and sometimes I get things mixed up in my brain and it just happens. But now we have ended up in the conservatory, and that is actually where the key allowed us to enter. So this is basically a music room. So as you can see, there are a ton of musical instruments. And a giant piano there in the far right corner. If you tap on them, you will be able to play some beautiful music. So what we want to do is just essentially get all of these instruments playing sound. And if you notice very closely, or listen very closely, you will notice that they are playing a very classical sound from another Mario game. My name is Melody. People call me the spectral beauty of the ivory keys. What a stirring performance. I haven't been so charmed by a piece for ages. You must have a delicate ear for music. Would you like to listen to my piano sonata? Well, here I go. Okay, I guess we don't have a choice. And this one is definitely a classic. If you don't recognize this tune right away, then you are not a Mario fan at all. By the way, that song was featured in a famous game. Well, you don't say. You know which game? Yeah, so this is pretty obvious. So we have the options of Mario Bros, Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros 3, and of course it is Super Mario Bros 3. Exactly right, you got it. Very impressive. I guess I needn't hold back with you. Would you care to do battle with my lovely music sheets? So yeah, so she is basically going to throw these musical sheets at you, and what you want to do is just simply suck them up. And as you can see, that will open up her weakness, but we want to go ahead and read her heart real quick. Show him the power of genius, my music sheets. Yeah, nothing really too crazy there. Basically just repeats what she just said after we guessed the song correctly. But what you want to do here, this can actually be tricky, and I think I might have kind of messed this up by scanning her heart right now. But basically, if you do not suck up all these musical sheets, if you do not suck up all of these musical sheets all in a row, it's going to be hard to be able to capture her because they will respawn, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they do. But once one respawns, she will not be opened up to capture. So you basically want to get them all in one go. Or just suck all of them up as fast as you can. And I think we might have done it. Nope. See, as you can see, they do respawn pretty fast, which is kind of weird. So really your best bet is just to get it done on that first go. I just wanted to scan her heart, so I probably shouldn't have done that. But there really was no other opportunity to do it because she doesn't appear until you activate that little musical instrument scene there. So, but let's see if we can go ahead and do this. This might actually take a while, man. I probably. Oh, here we go. All right, so she is now ours. So she's pretty simple. Not one of the harder ghosts. They are going to be coming up a little bit later. But we have a nice corner right here. I think this is one of the easiest rooms to capture the portrait ghost in the first attempt here. And boom, as you can see, we got it done on the first try. So yes, golden frame. I like how we still got hit by that poison shroom, even though we captured her at the same time. Not a big deal because I still got my giant pearl and I got my guaranteed golden frame of lovely Melody. So yeah, this was Melody, who was actually mentioned by the butler. His name is actually Shivers. Believe it or not, I didn't mention that before. But yeah, Shivers was mentioning... Oh, we have Boomio here. Shivers was actually mentioning Melody when we first passed by him before we actually obtained the fire element medal. So he was talking about how he, burned... His heart burned a certain passion for her, or something along those lines, I remember. So again, this game has a lot of foreshadowing to it. So when you get through the game... it's very important to take everything in because, each little clue and hint that you get in the early parts of the game are going to be important for later on. So that's something to definitely take note of and remember. But now we have another key, and that's going to unlock the door in the middle of the hallway there. But yeah, like I said, just make sure you're paying attention to some of these foreshadowing moments because this happens pretty frequently throughout the rest of the game. So, but for now, we're going to go ahead and move on. We have captured yet again another portrait ghost. That makes, I think, 3 now in this area. We have the dancing couple, we have Shivers, and then we just got Melody. So we are now moving on to number 4. He is actually located right behind this door. No rhyme was intended there, but I did it. We have some nanners here, and it looks like we are now in the dining room. And look at that. The next portrait ghost has already showed his face, and he looks like he is pretty hungry. But here is where we're going to find another speedy spirit. So let's see if we can get him. Very nice. That's going to open up another green stone for us to collect, which is going to bring our total to 3, I believe, of those. And we already have 5, I believe that's 5 speedy spirits already, so we're already like a third of the way done with those. There's a total of 15 of them. So we're making pretty good progress, I'm not going to lie. As you can see, this guy is stuffing his face. He looks pretty angry, I think more hangry. No one can see me in the darkness, no one, ha 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 ha, or whatever he said there. Yeah, this guy is pretty arrogant. Looks like some rich boy that can't get enough of his, free buffets or whatever. But behind his chair is a cheese wedge. Scan it for another golden mouse, which again is pretty easy to get. And one thing I don't remember if I mentioned or not is the golden mice will not be able to spawn out of the cheese wedges if you turn the lights on in the room. So definitely remember that. I think I already kind of mentioned that, but that should go kind of without saying since it's a ghost still, technically. So make sure you do not miss those golden mice. We're just going to go ahead and light his candles up here, by the way. That'll kind of activate another sequence here. If you go ahead and light his candles, that is going to essentially activate his little servants here that are going to serve him. What we want to do is actually suck them up and get rid of them, because if you notice, your Poltergust 3000 is going to suck up his food on his plate, but they're going to go ahead and refill it. So you want to make sure they're out of the way. That way he doesn't get any more refills. And he continues to be hangry. They only have 10 HP, so they're not too bad at all. It's kind of funny when you capture them. They just kind of freak the heck out. Like, they have no idea what the hell's going on. They're just doing their job, and one day Luigi's sucking them up with a vacuum. Alright, so I actually had to leave the room. I just decided to save in case I screwed this up, because he is one of the harder portrait ghosts from what I remember. But once his servants are gone, you will go ahead and suck up his nice little tasty meal there. That's just like, kind of looked like a big yellow blob to me. And he's going to get so angry and hangry, he's going to pelt fireballs out at you directly out of his mouth. That's got to taste horrible. So I guess whatever food he was eating was spicy enough to give him a flame ability, kind of similar to our new ability we got from the fire element medal. But yeah, you just want to essentially just really just kind of dodge him every time he tries to spit fire at you. And you just want to kind of tire him out a little bit, because he will eventually become weak enough, as you can see, to be exposed. This guy was exposed just now, so we are now going to suck him up. And yeah, this guy is pretty freaking hard. That's why I actually went back out and saved just a little bit ago. But it looks like we're going to get it. And very nice. We got a gold frame and another treasure chest. Treasure ahoy here. We have another boo. We're going to go ahead and see if we can locate. I think it's actually in the middle of the giant freaking table. Like, this thing belongs in, like, a great hall somewhere. Like, maybe Hogwarts? I don't know, something like that. But we're going to see if we can scope out this boo, because I know it's somewhere in there. Maybe not. Did it change positions? I think it might have. Another thing I did not mention is boos will change positions if you fail to locate them in a certain amount of time in a room. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But here we have Bodacious. I actually kind of like that name. It kind of has a certain ring to it. I don't know what it is, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and capture it. Very nice, because that one, as you can notice, had 80 HP. So they're going to, as you know, they're going to kind of increase the HP every time we progress on through some of these rooms. So, you know, we're getting kind of close to, I'd say we're definitely a quarter through the game, but probably closer to halfway. That is a silver diamond. Very important. That is actually a new gem we have not found, or a new jewel we have not yet collected in this game. So silver diamonds are worth quite a bit, and they are very important to when you factoring in your final totals for the game. Because again, you want to make sure you're hitting a good amount, even if you're not 100%ing the game. Nice little picture here. It looks ordinary, a little too ordinary. Luigi, you're spot on with that. But like I was saying, yeah, the more jewels you collect, the higher your total is going to get. And of course, you want to get to that 100 million G, because that's the criteria to hit the highest rank in the game. But we're going to go even further than that, because we're going to collect every single gem and stone you can possibly get in this game. But yeah, silver diamonds, there's a total of 5 of them. And they are only going to spawn during each optional portrait ghost. So yeah, the guy that we just took on, his name was actually Mr. Lugs. He was the first optional portrait ghost that I think he was the first one that we have encountered so far in this game. So yeah, so you will have optional portrait ghosts, but of course we're going to suck up every single one. There's a total of, I believe, 22. I think that's actually, I can't remember if that counts the final boss or not, but in here is another Speedy Spirit. And very nice, we got him, and looks like another blue stone. Go and pick that sucker up, and that's going to make number 5. Very nice. We have half of the blue stones already. There's a total of 10, of course, of each colored stone. And we already have a silver diamond. So we're doing pretty good. But we're now in the kitchen, and it looks like there's a door on fire. And that door is real, so we want to make sure we find a way to... we are going to be able to do something with that very soon, but we have to clear this room first. So what I want to do... there's actually a golden mouse that does spawn in here, but it's one of the ones that's only a 20% chance. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave this room and go back in and see if it does spawn, because I really want to try to get that before... Very nice. Look at that. That was awesome. Okay, so right there he is. Boom. Give it. Yes. Okay. So we got another golden mouse in the process. Yeah, obviously if we clear the room, we would not have been able to get him. He only spawns in this room and is one of those, 20% spawners, of course. But I thought that was going to take a lot longer. Thank goodness it did not. But now we can finish off the kitchen. And yeah, these unfortunately, these pots and pans have respawned. You want to take these things out. They do not respawn, though. If you stay in the room and suck them up, it's only when you leave and come back in, only when it's dark, obviously. But we're going to go ahead and take care of them once again. And I think I have to open up some of these cabinets for the ghosts to spawn, but I'm going to take care of these things first so that they don't get in my way. It's always important to take any flying objects that are flying towards your head in a room, always, especially in a boss room or a portrait ghost room, always suck them up immediately when you can. But right here is the oven. If you actually forgot to actually light it up with fire, if you do so, you will find another redstone. So very, very nice. We get colored stone just out the ass here. Very, very cool. As you can see, we have another elemental ghost. It's an ice one. So we can only use fire in order to have a chance to stun it. But now that we have weakened it, we can go ahead and suck her up. And that was the only ghost in here. I don't remember that. But that's okay, because we got another treasure chest. And what is this? Is that what I think it is? Let's find out. Who could this be? Who possibly could this be?
Hey now, Luigi. Now what have you stumbled across? Oh, this time it's a water element metal. Now you can use the water element. My research shows that these particular elemental ghosts leave their watery dwellings whenever you approach. You know the drill. Vacuum them up. Use the L button to expel them once they're vacuumed. If you press the L button all the way in, you can shoot out a big ball of water. I hear there are some ghosts who can be defeated only with water, actually. Also, remember that water has purifying properties, so use it well. Don't get too caught up with your new squirt gun, Luigi.
Alright, so we have the water elemental metal. So yeah, that's going to take care of fire elemental ghosts. We're going to see them pop up. I don't think in this area, but probably in the next one, because we're actually getting close to the end of the area, believe it or not. But yeah, so simple enough. The water element metal, again, just acts just like the fire element metal, except it is going to expel out water. So again, if you punch the L button kind of quickly, it's going to shoot out water balls. If you just want to kind of spray it casually, of course, you want to hold it down just like the fire element. But now we're going to go ahead and look for the next boo, which coincidentally is right there, and it's Boo Howdy Boo again. So we got another 80 HP guy right here. We can get him before he, of course, vanishes into the wall, which I don't know if we can get to. But it looks like there's something setting off the boo radar. I think it's just the decoy. I'm just going to make sure in case there's any boos that I may have missed. I know I've missed at least... Have I missed any yet? I don't remember if I've not... I think there's one still floating around somewhere, if I remember correctly. As you can see, this sink is going to expel these little water things, with the eyes on them, just like the fire. Once those things appear, you can suck them up to get the water element. And I'm doing a horrible job at doing that for some reason. And boom, as you can see, we now have the water element in our Poltergust 3000. So very nice. And yeah, just like I figured, it was just a decoy. So we'll go ahead and just not worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find this boo real quick, and then I'm going to head back into the kitchen. All right, so it was a bust. I did not find any hint or sign of the boo anywhere out there, which is kind of weird. From what I remember, they can't go up or down in the mansion. They can only go like horizontally, like through walls on the same, like they can only stay on the same floor from what I remember. So hopefully he's not too far away. But for now, we don't have to really worry about him too much. If you notice this plant right here, it's beginning of a plant. You take your water element and spray the heck out of it, it's going to grow a little bit. That is a very important plant because we are going to want to revisit it a little bit later on. Trust me on that. What's written on the sign? Here lies Mr. Bones, quiet. All right, kind of a weird sign. We have, it looks like another portrait ghost, but this time it's a doggo. See what his heart has to say for us. Woof, woof, woof. All right, simple enough. I guess it makes sense since he's a dog. We're going to go ahead and see if we can fill this water bowl up with our new water element. And that's going to make him angry. I thought the dude was thirsty. I guess he's not. But if you remember that sign, basically telling us not to disturb with someone called Mr. Bones, we get the dog, I believe, to walk over on that patch of grass by the sign. Or maybe we just have to get him to chase us long enough. I can't remember which one. We will eventually get right here, Mr. Bones. For the love of dirt, make that yappy dog be quiet. We have Mr. Bones spawning in, and we can immediately stun him and capture him up. He's got 30 HP, not too hard of a catch. He doesn't really work too hard to get away from you. You just want to make sure you're avoiding the doggo. And now that Mr. Bones is sucked up, he's going to drop a bone, single bone, and the dog is going to find a little bit of amusement with that. Distracting him, allowing us to read, I guess we can read his heart, it says the same thing. And it now opens up a weakness in order to capture him. So yes, we are capturing the pooch. Poor guy, he was just minding his own business in his little doghouse, and we are sucking him up in a vacuum tonight. How horrible for him. But he's not too bad. Just get him in a corner like the other ones, and you should easily get him on the first try. So we'll go ahead and pick up all of our pearls. Lovely pearls. Never thought I was a pearl guy until this game. Gotta say that. But now we have lit up this outside area, so there's nothing left to do but to go and save. Good thing I came back in here because there is a boo that, of course, we did not get before. It is Booligan once again, so we're going to try to capture him another time, and of course he's going to go back into the dining room, but he should be still right there. Very nice. We have about half of his HP done. I think we're gonna get him this time. I think this was the one that we failed to get in the kitchen the first time, I believe. He just kind of, I guess, respawned back in there.
Yowzer, you got another one.
All right. Very nice. We now have 13 boos, and I think we can get, I think there's still a couple I'm missing somewhere. I think you can get up to 15 at the end of this section. I can't remember for sure. I could be wrong though. Maybe I'm not missing any. But for now, we'll just leave it alone. We don't really have anything left to do other than go back outside to where that doghouse was. So let's go ahead and head back out there. Might as well grab the water element. I don't really think I need it right now, but I'm going to grab it anyway. Back out in the boneyard, you notice the doghouse is kind of glowing a little glow. Search it with the Game Boy Horror and it's going to spit out this little mist and it'll suck you up, similar to how that mouse hole did in the butler room. Now that we are in the graveyard, if you go ahead and tap on this pipe out here, it's going to reveal a red stone. Very important to do that. You can come back out here later, so if you some reason missed that before this section, you will be able to have another chance to come back to this boneyard, or graveyard, I'm sorry. And as you can see, we have more bone ghosts. These guys, honestly, these are one of my favorite looking ghosts in the game, just because they are kind of cool. And I like the animation they make when you suck them up and try to capture them. They just look so terrified. For guys that are literally just nothing but bones, they're clearly more dead than any of these ghosts we've seen so far. They are definitely one of the more animated ones that freak out the most, just based on their expressions. But once we get them all sucked up, make sure you have 100 HP right now, because this is it. This is going to be the boss of this area, believe it or not. We're going to go ahead and just suck up the fire element because it's given to us, and we'll approach this gravestone. We have been warped once again. So this is Bogmire. Bogmire is boss number 2 of the game and the boss of Area 2. What we want to do is he is going to spit out these little shadow creatures. Once you suck one up with your vacuum, it will turn into kind of like a ball type form. And then you just want to shoot it once you find the actual real Bogmire, which is indicated by, of course, the pink color. And as long as you shoot at least one of these guys, once you have him in a ball, shoot it right at Bogmire, and then he will be covered in the muck, and then that will allow you to suck him up, and that will essentially be his weakness. This fight is, for the most part, pretty easy. However, if you remember to get a gold frame, oh, he's already got it on him. Go ahead and try. Oh man, very close. We already have half his HP down. But to get a gold frame, you have to remember you have to have at least 90 HP. This boss is easy, but the gold frame portion can be kind of challenging because there's a lot of these shadowy things that will kind of creep around and follow you as you're shooting at, Bogmire with the ball. So it's very easy to get hit, especially when you're sucking them up. Like, ooh, this is close. Like you kind of get, and he already took away 2 of our HP. You can kind of get, cut it pretty close when it comes to like running into him or falling into him, or when you're sucking him up, maybe getting hit by those shadow things. It's very, very, has to be very precise, especially if you're going for that golden frame, let alone a silver frame. You just have to be, pretty much be very careful when you're sucking them up. I like to wait until there isn't quite as many of these guys out on the field, but they will respawn pretty fast. So you have to be just very, very, again, just very precise and very careful of your movements once you do get him in a position where you're capturing him. So it looks like there's only 2 of these guys left on the field. Maybe we have a shot at not taking any damage this round, and he's almost done. Let's see how it goes. He can still throw us around, and it's gonna do it. Looks like we're gonna do it. Very nice. We captured him up pretty fast. That was actually, I think, the fastest I've ever captured him. I can't remember, but that seems like it. But now we have a nice, beautiful colored chest with a nice, beautiful colored key. So as you can see, there's kind of a pattern here. We had a heart-shaped key in the first area boss. Now we got a clubs key, or clubs-shaped key. So very cool. And somebody familiar is ringing us up once again.
Luigi, can you hear me? Good to hear you're still okay. I lost your signal when that lightning struck. That was some battle you had there.
He was watching us.
Why don't you come on back to the lab, my boy? What? You think the lightning damaged the Poltergust 3000? Don't worry about it. Even if the lightning had cooked your goose, the Poltergust 3000 wouldn't even had a scratch. My boy. So funny.
Alright, back to the lab.
Good job, Luigi. You made it back in one piece. Looks like you got a vacuum full of ghosts there. What do you say we put them through the old ghost portrificationizer?
Let's do it, old man. Let's see how we did. Have a lot more ghosts this time around. And he's such a happy man to see those things in that machine, I tell you.
The ghosts are invisible. So we need to press them into visible forms. And presto, turn them into beautiful ghost portraits.
I think that was a dancing couple, was it? Oh, no, that's them. We got Shivers, all gold frames, very nice. We have Melody. We have Mr. Lugs. And we have the Pooch. Which I believe that dog portrait ghost, his name is Spooky, I do believe.
We managed to turn those ghosts back into paintings. Thanks for your help, Luigi.
Very cool. So area 2, we have now caught Mr. Lugs. The Floating Warlindas, that's their official name. Melody, however the hell you say her last name. Shivers, I'm so rude. And Spooky, yeah, I was right. And of course, none other than Bogmire. All golden frames for area 2. That now brings our total to 9 portrait ghosts. We're just kind of swimming along here. Don't know why I use that terminology. But now we're going to go ahead and factor in all of our currency, and looks like we are making quite a bit of a dent. We can now add the redstones and the silver diamonds to the total. Haven't seen those on the screen yet. And as you can see, the pearls as well are now factored in, bringing our total to 32 million Gs, over 32 million Gs. Not too bad. So yeah, this is you kind of want to be sitting at least around 30 million Gs at this point. If not, you might struggle to kind of get to that total at the end. But that is going to do it for Area 2 and for this episode of Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. Next time, we are going to be heading back to the mansion, of course, to take on Area 3, where the fun is just now going to get started. Yeah, it's going to get a lot more complicated and a lot more spooky from here on out. But until then, I will see you later.